Okay, so you told me today's speaker needed a really awesome introduction. So what better person than Superman? I actually listened to that music last night to kind of get in the mood. Yeah. So
I thought you were supposed to fly.
Stand up, Larry. No, I kid Larry a lot, and we're great friends. But I also know that he's truly on a spiritual path, and he always brings a great message. So our today's speaker is the awesome, notorious riverboat gambler, Larry Davis.
Don't know that tune. Everybody else used to. I missed that boat. Good morning. Good morning. Our talk today is you're dealing from a stacked deck. So, what better way to come to church than dressed as a dealer? Our last talk, we talked that the power of knowing. And at that time, I suggested that the greatest power that you have is the power of knowing who you are. That you are spiritually created in the likeness and image of God. Now, what does that mean? It means that you have the same faculty as the mind of God. Now, what is that faculty? The faculty of God is the ability to think independently. That in any circumstance, you can think independent of what it is that is happening at that moment. That you can create from that moment a different scenario. That you can take the power of the God faculty and implement it to make a great change. This is where you're dealing from a stacked deck. Who stacks the deck? Who stacks the deck? How do you stack it? How do you stack your deck?
By the way we see.
By the way you think. With your God faculty to think independently, to take any situation and change it into something different. To take any time in your life, to take any moment that you feel, that you think you are in despair, that you think you are in dis-ease, that you think that you are in lack. And you can take that thought process at that very moment, and you can open it up to the possibility that anything can happen from this point forward. If you look at an hourglass, and if you just took the hourglass, and you just imagine it for the moment right now, that it's half full at both ends, okay? So at the top, we'll put that to be our future, or our past, all right? Our future, it doesn't make any difference, okay? The bottom, the opposite, okay? And at the top, there's really no movement. At the bottom, there's really no movement. Where's the movement? In the hourglass.
In the middle.
It's in between. And what is it? It's one grain at a time. It's amazing how the human mind works. We can think a million thoughts in a day. But we can only think one at a time. We can only have one thought at a time. And in that holy, precious time, we can use that to think about our possibilities. Our possibility of endless, infinite abundance, of intelligent mind and love that surrounds us, and energy that is infinite. It is only our ego mind that creates lack. It is only our ego mind that says there's only a finite resource. In what proverb, Daryl? In what proverb does God tell us that there's only so much?
Which proverb? In none of the proverbs, because God didn't write the proverbs.
God, well, you're right. But we can say that the proverbs were channeled from God. My point is, where in the Bible does it say that there's only so much to work with?
There is one place in the Bible where it says, greater things than ye have seen me do shall you do.
Greater things than ye. Exactly. Exactly. In other words, what Jesus was saying there, that he has come to show us that you will do much greater things than I will do here. This is just one moment in time. Time is infinite. Take this moment right now. Take this grain that's flowing through the hourglass right now and open up to the possibilities that what could be, not what is, not what you perceive it to be. We could have very easily gotten up this morning and said, geez, it's almost November. The leaves are falling. I gotta clean up the yard. All right. How many got up and said, we get to dress up and go to church and have fun. Create a different possibility. Open up our mind to a different prospect of what it could be. It's your basic deck of cards. Brand new. It's never been shuffled or touched by human beings. Take a card. Take a card. All right. Don't look at your card. What's your card? What card is that? The Jack. What does the Jack represent to you?
I like the Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades. I like that. Okay. But is it a Jack of any particular trade? Jack of all trades. What else does the Jack represent to you?
Possibility.
Could be a prince. Could be a prince. Okay. Could be a sage. Could be many things. Okay. Could be the winning card if you were drawing for cards and somebody else got the 4. You got the Jack. What's your card?
None of diamonds.
The 9 of diamonds. So the 9 of diamonds is what?
It's very close, but it's maybe it's
So the 9 can represent 9. It can represent 900. It can represent 9,000. It can represent 9 million. It can represent 9 billion. It can represent 9 trillion. I'm not talking about national debt. I'm talking about the possibility of what that 9 of diamonds could be. Now, seeing as how you talked about the 9 of diamonds, let's just talk about this for a minute. Are you aware that wherever you walk, you're standing on a field of diamonds? They may be minute in size, but you are standing on a field of diamonds. How many people have had an opportunity to look out over a lake or an ocean when the sun is dropping or rising? What do you see? You see a field of diamonds. What's your card? What's your card? No. What's your card? What?
Oh, I'm holding a handful of diamonds. And
I like the way you think already.
yeah, and it's part of my spirituality with a 7.
Very good. Possibilities. James, Jim, what'd you get?
3 diamonds.
3 diamonds. That's a 2, isn't it? 3. You covered up the middle diamond, so. Well, you covered up the middle diamond, okay? The point is that the card face only shows limitation, okay? It's what you hold in your mind that creates the possibility of what it could be or what it could be, okay? If Jim had 1 3 and you had 1 7, then in a card game, you'd lose, or you'd lose. But if he had 2 and you only had 1, he'd win. The possibilities change just by the amount of the possibility. What do you bring forth from your thought? What do you bring forth from your ability, your God-given faculty, to use your ability to change any circumstances at any time from what could be despair, from what could be lack, to what could be abundance, to what could be perfect health, to what could be perfect wealth. Today's talk works perfect with the daily word. Once again, I did not look at the daily word before I started this talk. What is it? It's about flow. It's about fluidity. Right? All right. There's a possibility that I'll get my language skills down someday.
We gotta have hope.
You have to have hope. I do have hope. I wouldn't be here if I didn't have hope.
And she has Holly, who helps it a lot.
Holly helps me a lot. I have the lumps and bruises to prove it. Life is motion. Life is fluidity. If you think about what are we on right now? What is this thing we're on right now? What is it doing? Is it just standing still? It's spinning. And what is it doing as it spins?
Traveling.
It's progressing. It's progressing through the cosmos. The galaxy that we're in is progressing throughout the universes. Nothing is still. Nothing stays still. Everything moves. Energy in movement. What are we doing with our energy in movement? Are we looking at ourselves? Are we moving through space thinking about how we're progressing in our life? Are we allowing ourselves to think about the possibilities of what tomorrow can bring? Don't stop thinking about tomorrow.
That's a song.
I heard that song someplace.
Larry,
There's some sickness.
Think about now.
You think about now, as you're thinking about now, you're progressing until tomorrow. You're creating your tomorrow. You're dealing your cards. You're stacking your deck for tomorrow. You're loading up the aces for tomorrow. You have a winning hand tomorrow. Or not. What do you choose?
I choose to stay in the game no matter what.
Well put. Because as we will learn in the gathering, when we do the study, well put, Sharp. Because it's important to remember that we acknowledge that, oops, wrong page. we have learned, in whatever state we are in, to be content, knowing that God is enough. Knowing that God is enough, that we can stay in the game, that we can play the game, that we know that as we think, we can stack our deck, knowing that God will provide more than enough for anything that we need. Let me share with you what Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, wrote in The Revealing Word concerning the thought. Now, it's rather long, so I've only highlighted a couple of parts of it here, but they're the important parts for our message today. In thinking, the thinking faculty is the inlet and the outlet of your ideas. It is active, zealous, impulsive, but not always wise. It is nature to think, and think it will. If you are ignorant of your office, then things will be in disarray. The thinking faculty in you makes you a free agent. Where have we heard that before? Because it is your creative center. In and through this one power, you establish your consciousness. You build your world. 1904, or no, 1930s. Recently, I was given a gift. It was a kit called The Science of Getting Rich. It's about a $2,000 gift kit that was just given to me, okay? And it revolves around this little green book called The Science of Getting Rich by a gentleman named Wallace Wattles. Anybody ever heard of it? As I've been going through it, I am just fascinated that it's like, I know all this. I already know it. I've just been asleep at the wheel. But what I found fascinating was on Friday night, was looking through our array of movies and DCDs, trying to find something to watch because there was absolutely nothing on TV. And I come across a CD that was gifted to me. I don't even know where it came from. It's The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. It's been sitting there on my shelf for how long, I have no idea. And what came to me was, you know what? You're creating an energy here. You're making and creating a movement, okay? And no matter what, it's going to get to you. If it didn't get to you with the CD, maybe it'll get to you when somebody gives you this big giant box and says, here's a gift. Go have fun and play with it. No, I could have taken that box and I could have put it on the shelf and said, I've got so much other things to do. I don't have time to look at this right now. But I chose to open it and look at it and just put one CD in. And it changed my day. And that day is going to change tomorrow. Because I know I have created a different scene. I have not allowed my mind to get stuck in the muck. I have opened my mind to the possibilities that, yes, I can be rich. Yes, I am rich. I am rich. Richness is not just money.
That's a good start.
But how could I get any more rich? I have friends and acquaintances that are probably the most loving, supportive people on this planet. They have helped me at times when I was at my lowest moment. And they have lifted me to places, to mountaintops that I never thought possible. I am rich in my relationships.
Larry, let me tell you something. Nothing comes from nothing, and nothing ever could. Somewhere in my youth and childhood, I must have done something good. But because we have these friends. And we can't get any richer than that.
Did you guys hear that? So, knowing that somewhere in your childhood, and when is your childhood?
Right now. Yeah, we're still on top.
I think that's important that we understand that. That our childhood is right now. There's an example right there. Da, 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 you lost a little weight, man.
Yeah.
It's okay. You know, those biscuits and gravy were starting to get to you. I'm kind of happy that you look a little more thin. Thank you, Rosie, because that puts the stamp on it. The knowing that somewhere, somehow, sometime, there's always something good happening. And it's always happening right now. Last week, we had an opportunity to witness a film, a short film by Barbara Marx Hubbard, The Birthing of 2012. How many stayed for that? How many got a little bit excited about that? Why was that? Because it stirs something within you. Possibilities. Possibilities. The ability to accept that there are possibilities. We are here right now, in this moment, in this time, to allow ourselves to reopen to the possibilities that there is a greater world, there is a greater time, that there is a greater movement than just us happening. And we're part of it. We're not just little specks of grass that are just sitting here floating in the wind. We have mind. We have God mind. We have the faculty of God to allow us to think about what it is that we want to create. We're talking about becoming a hub for that program. It could really line up Unity of Salt Lake. If you're interested, let us know. But I think it's important that we understand that no matter what we do, that in our thought, in our movement, in our actions, we are doing something to progress ourselves to a different place. And if we allow ourselves to respond to the possibilities that there's something better, which each thought of that, with each breath of that, with each heartbeat of that, we send out an energy that helps raise the consciousness of this planet and beyond. It's not just here. It's endless energy. And right now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm in the mindset that this cannot be stopped. That there's just too much of it. It's moving way too fast. It is everywhere. And through our hearts and minds, we are creating a world where we know that God is enough. And that we have enough to meet every need, everywhere. And so it is. Namaste.